Hi, Leah.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. It's been wild. I've been studying for law finals, so like I'm kind of all over the place right now, so I apologize.
I get it. I get it. So I wanted to, before I have you introduce yourself, because we know each other, but not everybody knows how we know each other. But I
Very true.
wanted to share a story that kind of aligns with how we know each other. Okay, so there's this photography, videography, recording studio in Atlanta, Brand Factory, right? Now I
Yes.
just moved from the Washington D.C. area, and I thought I wanted to be in Atlanta. So I was still living in Tennessee, but I was making that drive to Atlanta, staying with my sister, crashing on her in her guest bedroom. So I went to this one magazine called Jezebel Magazine. I had a interview there one day, and then I think like days, 24 hours, 36, 48 hours before I had that interview, I found out about Brand Factory online, and I asked to do an interview there. Calvin Evans was like, "Come on in. We'll be at the studio all day." So funny story. I got to Jezebel magazine, showed them my portfolio. Like, we need to see more work. Okay. Took my portfolio over to Brand Factory magazine. I love this. I love this. This is amazing. Where have you been? and Leah happened to be there. You were there. I think I'm trying to think which whether it was just a photo shoot or just a recording session with one of your artists. But you were there, and Calvin just introduced me to everyone who was there that day. And
hmm
that was what 4 or 5 years ago, and here we are today.
It goes by so quick, right? But yeah, Calvin's a wonderful soul. I tell you, he just opens his arms to everybody, and he sees the beauty in everyone. And it's everyone has creative beauty, and Calvin was the one that saw it in all of us, and it's a blessing. I've met so many people, at the Brand Factory, and we all still talk. We're talking today, me and you. So it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I did briefly mention they're probably now wondering like, what does she mean? She has all of this. What is so? Let's just run down your history. What do you do? Who is Leah?
Okay, well, at that time, I was in the music industry, probably full force as an entrepreneur at the Brand Factory, and I originally started with Calvin, and we worked a lot with photo shoots and things of the sort. And then Fran Lever was in the recording studio, and so I also helped in that aspect because before the Brand Factory, I worked at the record labels. So I was just managing a bunch of artists at the time, and I was just finding a studio that I could just dive right into. And like you just mentioned, the Brand Factory, they were just like with open arms, and it just created its own monster from there. So we all did various hats. So I was in the photography, the video, the audio recording. It was just everything on a daily basis, always something new.
Yeah. Never a dull moment. So what you said final, but what are you doing now? What are you studying for now?
So now I am in law school. So the past 10 years I've been working in the music sector, mostly in business and legal affairs. And it was just like, it's just time for me to just take the next step and become an attorney and just do more than what I could, because I was only limited to just so much I could do. And I just felt like it was God's time for me, now that I'm older, to just buckle down and just put my mind to work and do what it's meant to do. And I'm in my second year of law school, and it's going great, going for constitutional law. I might still dabble in entertainment. I can't get away from the entertainment, but I really want to fight for, just people's rights here in America, just all the stuff, the crazy stuff that's been happening in the last few years. I just felt like that was what I could do to make a change.
Nice, nice. So how many more years do you have?
One more year.
Okay. Very nice.
Yep. I'm still a newbie, but still not. So I'm in the middle stage. But man, it's wild right now. But it's worth it. I'm being positive.
So how do you manage it? So you wear a lot of hats right now. So you're a student, you're still an entrepreneur, and you have a daughter.
Yes, I do. Yep. Yeah. My mom always told me God cannot give you things that you cannot handle. So my first year of law school, I ended up pregnant. And I just use this as an opportunity just to use this as an inspiration, not be downtrodden of anything. So it just motivated me more to finish school. So the whole first year of law school, I was pregnant. And now I'm in my second year, and my baby girl is 6 months old and still going strong. I have a great support system, and, I also have her eyes staring at me. So it's like, I can't give up now. I'm already too deep in. So, but you just learn to do work-life balance. I just have my family here and stuff. So it's just been working out.
So what do you think, aside from a support system, what do you think has helped you during the difficult times, because it can get difficult to manage day to day?
I think just being an entrepreneur alone, just all the stuff that you go through, like just when you finally decide to leave a well-paying career and just fight to figure out how you're going to pay your bills or survive, and the learning opportunities that come out of it, I think that prepares you for a lot of things in life. And I really think that me having a long career of me traveling everywhere and just going through the grind from the bottom all the way to the top, it just really, this was nothing. It was nothing. So I was like, you know what? I could do this. I've done so much over the years. This ain't going to be nothing. And this is going to be something else I'll say. This builds character and makes you even stronger. Everything that gets thrown at you, you just take it with stride, and just you got to just change your mindset into positivity and just see it as a lesson and a blessing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned traveling. Now, where have you traveled to?
So I went to Butler University in Indianapolis and got my undergrad. And as soon as I graduated, I went straight to New York City because I just needed to get out of the Midwest. I went to music for music business and pre-law. And I did internships at New York City and went to NYU for a semester. So I already kind of had like my foot in the door over in New York. So I was there for a bit. And then 2 years later, I decided to move to LA and just see what LA had for me. And I got an amazing job at this was Universal. I was at Universal, and I was in the business of legal affairs. So I worked there for a while and was in Hollywood and got to experience all that. And I just felt like I just really experienced everything I need to experience. I worked for top companies in New York. I was at MTV and Warner Music Group. And I was just like, I worked for all these already known people. I want to see what it's like to help educate independent artists to see if, I could just train them to understand the business side of it so that they could effectively get signed to a label, because after working in the royalties department, I just saw a lot of artists are getting ripped off, the terrible contracts. They don't even know that they're accountants, and everyone's taking all their money, and they're only making, they have all these top singles on the radio, and they're only making like pennies on the dollar. So I just decided to just leave everything and go to Atlanta and just become an entrepreneur and see what would happen. I didn't know anyone there. I just knew that Atlanta was starting to become a really big poppin' city. So I just said, let's go. And then after a few years, I decided to go to law school, and I decided to go to Charleston because I'm originally from Charleston. I was born here, so my family's here, so it just made sense. So that's a little rundown of where I was so far. Who knows where I'm going to go next?
Yeah. I love it. So now what would you say you learned the most from starting out in the entrepreneur journey in Atlanta?
It it was different. I think first and foremost, the huge change was, I've been in these big diversified cities, New York and LA. And I'm going to be honest, one of the main things that I was kind of taken aback was coming down to the South. It was very different, a very different culture. A lot of people are still, I feel, separated down here still. But I just broke through the barriers, It was just like, I'm just so used to being around diversity. So it was just like, well, let's see what happens, let's see how this goes. And, hip hop, of course, is the main music genre in Atlanta. So I went from pop and all that stuff to, I got to learn about hip hop. So I had all these mentors that taught me about, how the hip hop industry was. So I was just at the grounds with everyone, just learning about the whole scene and what goes on, and just actually getting to talk with everyone I could, and just hearing everyone's experiences. And, you just get really personal with people. And I feel like that's how you got to learn about stuff, is you got to just like get deep and dirty with it. And I mean, I love Atlanta just because that was the first city I got to just hit the ground running and just go where all the independent artists were going, and where the first time they go into the studio up to now, all the artists that I've worked with, gosh, it's been like probably 6-7 years now, and they're doing great. And it's just amazing how you just learn so much in that process. It takes a lot of time. It's very stressful, but if you have that passion for it and stick with it, golly, it's very rewarding. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, but you also have Native American in your blood, right?
Yes, from my dad's side. Yep. So, yep, that and Irish and Native American.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, I feel like you did in a way blend in because you're not a Jew.
Right.
So yeah.
Very true. Yeah, you just gotta be, you just gotta just be yourself. You know what I'm saying? And just be yourself. And it all starts with just a conversation. Hi, how are you? It's so simple. It's so simple.
Right, and not just starting off with, hey, what's your rate? So, hey, let's network, or hey, let's collab, whatever it is. Go down in the DM of, not having a conversation, but I want to know how you can help me.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. A lot of people are just, you're true. Yeah, that happens a lot. That's happened a lot over the years. Like, they won't even introduce themselves. They'll be like, hey, I heard about you. What can you do for me? I'll make you a lot of money if you help me for free. No, you got to come at me correct and professional. I might be a nice person, but I'm not going to be taken advantage of. And I think that is a good thing for every entrepreneur out there, is recognize your worth. And there's going to be people that would take advantage of you being an entrepreneur or just starting out. And you just really need to set boundaries with people and let them know, hey, if you really want to work with me, you got to come at me correct and professional, because I'm a professional, especially women. I'm a professional woman, and it's amazing the things that I'm sure you have as well, came across, and whew, I tell you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the hard part about the music industry. Now, what would you say? Other than, obviously being professional and knowing where your money's going, what other things do you think would be important for those who are just starting out in the music industry to know?
Oh, goodness. First and foremost, don't sign nothing you do not understand. And, I've come across people that had terrible contracts, just signing things. No, you got to understand what you're signing. And that's where I started to mentor a lot of artists onto protecting themselves, because there would also be ways where artists would get ripped off and they wouldn't sign nothing, and then all of a sudden they heard their song on the radio because someone stole it, because they just was handing out their music freely and they didn't have their music registered or any of the sorts, and lost all their royalties. So first and foremost, don't sign anything unless you fully understand it. And second, if you're giving out music, you got to have that registered or have people sign confidentiality agreements. So if by chance they do use your music or your photographs or your songs or your poetry or art or anything of the sort, you will have legal grounds, to take them for copyright infringement, because you have that documentation that proves that this is your original work, and you can't have people taking advantage of you. And I think those were one of the two main things I saw. And that's where it was just like, I need to go to law school, because this law stuff, I tell you, you really need to have a clear understanding of it when you're in the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm. So where do you see yourself going once you finish law school?
I still have a love for Atlanta. I do. I miss Atlanta, I love being here. My family's here. I'm by the ocean, but I think when it just comes to Atlanta's just such a growing city and so much opportunity. And I already done the New York and LA thing. I feel like I'm getting too old for that. But I think Atlanta's I always called Atlanta like a city country, it's the country and the city all in one. And I just love that place. So if I was thinking, maybe practicing law here in South Carolina and Georgia, and I have some family out in Montana, maybe out there. I just want to be in peaceful places, so I think that's what I'm planning to do at this time. But like I said, we'll see. But definitely Atlanta, I need to come back.
Well, hey, what about Nashville? You get the best of both worlds.
That's true. I keep forgetting about Nashville. KK's out there too, so.
Shout out to our hairstylist. That's how I also met her through you, so.
Yep, yeah, she's wonderful. Golly, I miss her too. So yeah, I need to just visit Nashville too. Whew.
Yeah, bring your baby.
Right?
So now, why you touched on it a little bit. You said you wanted to see how you can help and be a part of the independent music industry. But why else did you really start Master Music Enterprise?
Like when I left the label, I just, like I said, people were just getting ripped off. And I just feel like one of the things that I just always felt was my place on this earth was just to help people understand things that they can't see for themselves. And I always had a knack for law and business. And so I was just trying to think of ways to like put that together, and just seeing people getting ripped off at the record labels. I just decided to start Master Music Enterprise just off of a whim. I just started it as like a website just to see what would come out of it. I didn't really think anything of it. Like I just originally just posted like artist of the week and like music tip of the day, so it was just like little like tidbits of, I was just giving people information about the industry if anyone even cared, and it was just so crazy how artists started coming to me asking to get managed, and I never really managed anyone before, but I was like, well, I could teach you about the industry and we could see what would happen, and it just took its own monster. And, I just helped people just whenever they did their lyrics, I would be like, all right, well, let's copyright this, let's register this, let's do ASCAP BMI, so it was just those little steps that we just started taking. And then we started going to the studio, and then, we just started going to the brand factory and, various studios, and just being entrenched in there. And it just went from managing all these artists to, by the time I left Atlanta, I did a huge showcase at A3C Festival. I had my own showcase with Zaytoven and the Dungeon Family. And, it was just an amazing just looking back and see where I started and like how crazy it got all the way at the end, just, you know, just getting everyone together and network together. And I just love connecting people with the right people. And it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're definitely good at connecting the dots. Matchmaking for business people. I think that's what
right. Right.
You
Yeah. It's just like, that's what you got to do sometimes, you know, because that's another tip I want to tell entrepreneurs, you know, and you know this too. You know, it's not about yourself. You know, if it's not about yourself. And once you show that you're not working with people to say, oh, I want to see what I can get out of this, I want to see what money I can make, you know, no, it's what connection you're going to make, because you never know, 10 years down the line, you're going to need to call that person because, like, for instance, you know, like people that you would either help with photography or something like that. Oh, I have a huge deal for you, you know, where, you know, someone was asking me for a photographer and there's someone that has like 10,000 grand they want to spend right now, you know, so you always have to look for things that make sense, because it's not about you making money. It's about everyone making money, because people always remember how you made them feel. But if you come in and say, oh, it's just about me, and people see that you're greedy and selfish, no one's going to call you 10 years from now. They're going to go to someone else and give you someone else type of business, you know? So it's always about, you know, watch whose feet you step on while you're climbing to the top, because that's the butt you're going to have to kiss when you're going right back down. So I feel like that's what entrepreneurs really need to learn, because, you know, you can't be stepping on people's toes, because it's not worth it in the end.
Yeah, no, especially as an artist who's just starting out, because I feel like a lot of them just look at, they got television, which is good in a way. They just look at, okay, the Grammy, the Billboard Awards, this, that, hip hop awards. Okay, but you gotta, you know, you gotta get there. Do you not see how everybody? That's why people have entourages when they get to those awards. People have to cut them off because they gotta thank all these people, you know. But yeah.
I tell you, those type of artists. Oh, I remember one artist recorded a song for the first time, okay? First time he was ever in the studio. He got a single. It wasn't even mixed and mastered yet. Leah, when am I going to start making money? Oh, I just put up my hand. I was like, are you serious? You really think because you just got something recorded you're going to start making money? I was like, you have a lot to learn, my dear. It's not that easy. It is not that easy. And that's how you separate people that are very passionate about what they do. So when it came to an artist that acted like that and they were very rude and wanted money or whatever and didn't understand the concept of hard work and they wanted things handed to them, I quit working with them. It was very simple and easy. But the ones that actually wanted to learn and grow and understand the business, they're doing great right now. So, you know, but yeah, I know people just want instant gratification, and that's not going to get you nowhere.
Nope, not at all. All right, so where can we find you on the web? How can we contact you?
Let's see. Well, I guess right now, I guess I still have my Master Music Enterprise up, but now that I'm in law school, I really haven't been touching it. But people could follow me on Facebook at Master Music Enterprise. So I still have my Facebook up at this time. My business line. Oh,
I have to follow you on Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. Oh, yeah, I have Instagram, Master Music ENT. So that's my Instagram account. But like I said, it's kind of idle at this time. I actually posted a legal thing. I think it was like last month. So I think I'm going to start switching it over to just legal stuff, just giving people like legal tips and stuff that I could do. Yeah. So those are the only two things I have right now. My business line is still on, and that is my phone line. It's 404-532-9993. So that's my actual Master Music Enterprise business. You know, so if someone needs any help with contracts, confidentiality agreements, I could just draw them up for them, you know, for a fee. Or if they need any negotiation, say that they're speaking with someone like an independent label or like a management contract and need someone to look over it, you know, it's all about just making sure you don't get screwed over. So yeah, right now I just do just strictly legal, but if you do have someone that I could refer you to, like management, or if you're looking for something, I could definitely show them to the right people. You know, if I can't help them, I'll make sure that they go to someone that can.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for your time, Leah.
Thank you so much, Akira. I really appreciate it.